Today, we're going to be specifically talking about procrastination, not just what it is, but how it impacts you. I'm going to give you an example of the realistic way that we're focusing on it, and you're going to see why it's so hard without a process and without a system to be able to overcome this. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. If you have questions, please put them in chat. If I'm unable to see them at that point, then I do believe that Sabina will help us jump in. I'm just getting my screen where I can see as much of this as I can. All right, procrastination, the number one time management problem. We did a survey at the 7-Minute Life. We had 179 people respond, and they said procrastination was their number one problem. So let's just take a quick look at procrastination and define it. And I do hope you'll take notes as we go through this, because taking a pen and putting things on paper is where we begin to learn. So procrastination really is delaying. It's a delay of something you need to get done, but that you've chosen not to get done. So it's the definition really is that you've delayed something. Where it comes from, I've put in these 4 things, that it really comes from indecision, of not being sure what to do first. Procrastination can also come from anxiety. Will I do it well enough? Do I have time to get it done? Procrastination can come from apathy. I just don't care if it gets done. And one of the biggest problems with procrastination is we have so much to do, we just don't know where to start. So I like to start out by saying, here's the problem. The problem with procrastination is that it has a profound mental health impact on us. And you're going to see that as we move into a few different sections of today. But I want to make sure that those of you that are in the 7-Minute Life, that are really choosing to come to these classes week after week after week, and to embrace all of the things that we believe can help you with your time management, your life skills, your purpose, your priorities, that we believe that there has to come some point in life where you hit a tipping point. If you've been procrastinating for the entire period of your life, I want to throw out a line in the sand today and say, procrastination is something that we can't stop, but we can get better at overcoming. And there is that point in life where there's just a line in the sand, and you say, I'm not going to continue to live like this. I'm going to make a decision to make things better. In order to make a decision, it's just that tiny step. Now, we use this example of an hourglass in almost every class and every concept that we use with time management. And I will clearly tell you that in my mind, procrastination comes from having too much on your to-do list. So if you have 15 things on your to-do list, it may not look like a lot when it's all neatly lined out. But if this was today, and you could visually imagine that you're putting things into your to-do list, like this morning, I had a phone call at 8:45. I had notes that I had to get out, not thank you notes, but I had notes that I had to get out to one of my team members. I have this webinar to teach. I have a call. I have a meeting at 2:30, a call at 3:30, another meeting at 4:30. So we have all these things coming into our life. Well, if you have 15 things on your to-do list, look what happens. If each one of these lines is a visual image of what you have to do in your life, it quickly becomes, you're going to hit what we call the choke point. The choke point. And when you hit the choke point, you're done. When you physically feel that overwhelming stress of I have so much to do, I can't get it done, then when you hit the choke point, that's when you've hit a tipping point. You have to make a decision. Am I just going to continue to be frozen, or am I going to show up to classes like this, become a part of a community where I can overcome procrastination. Let's look at the flip side of procrastination and give some positive things. The flip side of procrastination is having a to-do list or a system or a way of life where you can prioritize. If this is the chaos that we're living in, what is the opposite of being able to prioritize what's most important to you? Not just your values, but to actually prioritize the tasks in your day. And then to utilize repeatable systems to organize the things you want to do, and then simplify it down to what we call micro actions. So I want to really encourage you that procrastination, and I want you to hear this, procrastination begins because we don't have a clear enough goal to actually take action. We procrastinate on tasks. We procrastinate on projects. We procrastinate a lot of times because we don't have a clear why behind I'm going to do this crummy task. I mean, there are a lot of things that we have to do in time management that we just don't want to do, but we do them because they're leading somewhere. If you want to overcome procrastination, you have to have a goal. I think we look at goals backwards. We look at goals as something that will drive us toward overcoming things, like overcoming procrastination, overcoming not having enough motivation. I think that's backwards. I think we set meaningful goals because we have learned the importance of having drive, passion, motivation, perseverance, grit, excitement, commitment, hope. I believe that you will always procrastinate. I'll always procrastinate if there's not something that's driving me to push past the mundane, to look at a to-do list and say, yep, this is work. I've got to get these things done. Well, I have to have this internal bigness. I have to utilize my heart, body, mind, and soul. I have to be able to take a task and see that it's leading somewhere, that it's taking me to achievement. But a lot of us have goals. You know, we have goals, but we don't have this. And that's an entire another class. But I want to walk you through the process of overcoming procrastination today. And you're going to see my goal. I'm going to break it down step by step for you. And I want you to follow along. And then I really wish that I could possibly get someone that's willing to kind of talk through some of these things. I need to set that up ahead of time. But if you're willing to kind of walk through one of these after you see, it'd be great to have someone volunteer to do that. So you have to have a goal. Our goal is that we are really trying to launch this technology to make sure we're doing a good job on these weekly webinars. And it has been way harder than we thought it would be. Anytime you take on a big goal, and I will assure you, if I didn't have the drive, the passion, the motivation to continue to push through these obstacles and hurdles, it would have been really hard. But there are 4 things I want you to write down as far as overcoming procrastination. The first thing is that you have to have a meaningful goal. You have to know why you want to get something done. Step 2 is that you have to understand the projects that are going to lead you towards the goal. Now, some of you may have already received them. If not, we're happy to send them out. I know, as silly as it sounds, I have created a goals bucket sheet where I actually go in and say, okay, this is my goal. What are the projects that I need to work on to get these things done? And I'll outline the projects at 50,000 feet view. And you're going to actually see how we're doing this right now on a real project that we're working on. So step 1, you have to have a goal. Ours is to launch the technology. We have pieces of it. We have a desktop app that kind of works. We have a mobile app that you can go to the app store and type in 7-Minute Life, and It's awesome. And we have all different kinds of things. But after you have a goal and you have these 50,000 foot projects, you then have to break it down. You have to take the big projects that you have and you have to break them down into individual projects, which you'll use here on this project management worksheet. And if you're attending, we'll know that you want these things. So it could have come in an email to you. If you haven't received it, we'll be sending these out. All you need is a sheet of paper. So if you know the goal and the goal drives you, you're less likely to procrastinate. If you have clear projects that kind of excite you because it's going to take you toward a goal, it's going to excite you. If you understand the individual pieces, the project details of what you have to do, you're more likely to get it done. But the final step is, once you know the goal, once you understand the projects that are going to lead you toward the goal, once you've broken down the project into individual pieces, you have to have a written daily plan of action. Now, I hope that we're going to be able to solve some of these things while you're in the call today on our goal, on where we're struggling. But these are the 4 pieces: 1, 2, 3, 4. These things will help you overcome procrastination, where when you create your written daily plan of action, you're going back, you're looking at the goal, you're looking at the projects that will lead you towards that. You're reviewing the individual project management. And instead of having 15 things on your to-do list, you're going to create a to-do list that only has 5 things on it. We call this concept creating your 5 before 11 list. And what that means is that if you only have a limited period of time, when you're creating your to-do list, and you may have 15 things on your to-do list, but you're going to begin to prioritize them in order of importance. You're going to see how I do that in just a minute. So you're going to create 5 high-value actions that will lead you towards your goal. John Arnold, who is our Chief Inspiration Officer and works a lot behind the scenes, there's a very famous word that says, I will choose to do it later. This is a dangerous word. I will do it later. And he was talking to one of our huge raving fans, and she said her sister has a phrase about later. When her sister tells her, I'll do it later, the other says, well, that's a great idea, but later is already taken. Later is already taken. So what are you going to do about it? All right. There's a problem, because you know as well as I know that you may very well have a goal. You may have projects. You may have individual projects. You may not have a written plan of action where you take 7 minutes in the morning to think through how you're going to get things done. Oh, and Chad just asked a question. Why do today what you can put off till tomorrow? I love that. He said, LOL. And why not? I mean, I procrastinate as well. Now we're trying to do things better, but why not? It's just so much easier. But if we can take 7 minutes in the morning and 7 minutes in the evening to plan, we can overcome these problems. Why do we struggle with procrastination? Because we feel trapped. You know, there's not enough time. We don't know how to accomplish the task. This is a big one, which is why training, if you're in HR, making sure that you have training budgets to train people how to do this. The task may not be clear. There could be no deadline for you to finish it. You may just really not like doing it. Or in the past, you may have experienced limited success with reaching that goal or accomplishing that task. So I think there's a bigger problem. If we're going to overcome procrastination, we need to get rid of some of these faulty perceptions. We call these perceptions of what's happened in the past. We call those faulty assumptions. We have assumptions that yes, procrastination is a big problem. I will always be a procrastinator and I will never get it done. We need to get rid of those perspectives. We need to get rid of these faulty assumptions And at the 7-minute life, we have some very high level pieces that we talk about. And one of them is living in the cow path. That just because you procrastinated for the last, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years of your life does not mean you have to stay in that rut. What we want to do with you is help you understand that you have a need or a drive to stop procrastinating. You are coming week after week to these classes because you're motivated. But until you actually start taking the time to change behaviors, none of this really can take place, can take root in what you're doing. This is the key driver, is that you want to change behaviors. In order to do that, you have to have systems. It is the repeatable processes and systems of having better time management that will help you do it. So here's how you do it very plainly. Our goal is to launch technology that is bar none the best technology that has ever been launched. It has been harder than I thought. What goals are you working on that have been harder than you thought? Are you willing to be that person that perseveres, that has grit? Or are we going to just not get it done? So our goal is clearly to create a technology company that focuses on meaning and purpose and happiness and helping you improve time management. If that's the case, then at the 7-minute life, if we want to deliver technology and be a world-class global leader in delivering purpose, happiness, and productivity, then what projects are we working on? I'm about to give you a sneak peek behind the curtain, and then I'm going to take one of these projects and show you how we have broken it down into pieces, and then how we're trying to execute it. So take a deep breath. You'll want to just grab any sheet of paper you have, and you can just kind of number these. It is fun to just create squares across a piece of paper. So if you will, go ahead and grab your paper, draw out these buckets. There's no magic secret to 9, but when I'm in a company and really talking to people, I want them to visualize those goals. So I'm going to share with you ours, the projects that we're actually working on. I'm going to take one of those projects and I'm going to break it down into here's how you execute it. Now, if I could, I would ask you to do the same thing. I want you at the end of this class to think about the goals you're working on, the projects you're working on, and how to break them down. So this is our project bucket, and I'm going to give you time to be able to write these things down. Our goal as a company, so I'm letting you in on the secrets. Our goal as a company is to generate revenue. Now, that's not our mission, but as a company, we've got to generate revenue. In order to generate revenue, we believe we have to find customers that we can increase their engagement. In other words, companies are going to hire us. People are going to join our membership because they want to improve their time management. They're overwhelmed. We want to help them stop being overwhelmed. We're doing a lot of work with realtors. We understand that a real estate agent is stressed. They want to increase sales. They want to be able to increase their competencies. They want to help people. They want to find meaning and purpose in work. So what we want to sell is increased engagement, increased, improved time management, purpose, priorities, drive. So our big goal is to really narrow that down to words that we think matter. Our goal is to be the global leader in purpose, productivity, and happiness in the global workforce. How are we going to do that? We're going to help people have processes and systems. Pretty clear. Now, what projects are we specifically working on? So again, you're getting a sneak peek into how the 7-minute life deals, and I hope you're writing these things down so you can actually have a feeling of how this works to get out of procrastination. We have a goal that leads us down not wanting to procrastinate, because these drivers in business make me want to get things done. The projects that we're working on are building out a membership community. So we're going to have people pay $50 per month to help us grow out a membership. And we're primarily right now focusing on 3 areas: the real estate industry, the healthcare industry, and the financial services industry. Now we have some other places that we're looking at: education, workforce development, but these are our 3 big buckets. So every day when I wake up and take my 7 minutes, I look at the goal and I say, out of all of these to-dos, are these actions that I need to do, first and foremost, are they leading me toward the goal of our company? Now, it may sound crass, but most of you are going to be in a situation as entrepreneurs or as real estate agents or financial services, or even if you're in the healthcare industry or another industry, business have to make money. They have to generate revenue. They have to generate profitability. We need to be aware in business, are the actions I'm taking leading me towards our business goals? Now, today I'm talking about business. When you look at your to-do list, so kind of take a breath, when you were creating your to-do list, did your to-do list lead you toward the business objectives that you have? And I'll show you mine today. Are the things on your to-do list going to increase revenue for your company? Are they going to increase engagement either with your customers that you serve or with the team that you work, or the engagement of your own life? Is any task on my list going to help make our clients lead a more purposeful, productive, improve their time management, happier life? Are the projects that I'm working on creating processes and systems? So let me just get at least 1 or 2 people to say, I'm beginning to understand, because if I'm not clear on what the to-dos I'm working on are leading me toward a goal, why would I want to work on them? What's the motivation? So let me just see if I can get a yes, I get it. That overcoming procrastination means that we have to be driven by something. In my case, we're driven by hitting our business goals. So let me see if anybody out there says, yes, I get it. Step 1 is understanding the goal. Step 2 is clarifying the projects you're working on. So I'm going to take a sip of water and let's look at this. Now, Chad is saying, I'm actually good at cold calling, but I procrastinate on cold calling because I hate it. Boy, I totally get it. So Chad, are you having questions about how this helps you overcome procrastination? Or are you having questions about how this process is going to help you overcome procrastination? So step 1, goal. Step 2, what projects are you working on? So project we're working on is membership community in 3 areas. So what are we doing to work on those things? We have kind of sub-projects. We want to define the customer journey. In other words, when you come and find us, is it easy for you to find our webinars? Is it easy for you to onboard? Is it easy for you to measure your own metrics and outcomes? And we think the answer is kind of maybe. We are really making sure, if our goal is to increase revenues, to make people engage, we've got to make this better. So these are projects that I want to work on because I want my customers to have a clear journey, to know step 1, step 2, step 3. I want the onboarding experience to be fabulous, and it's not yet. I think the classes are fabulous, but how do we help you take this information and move? How can we help you measure your own outcomes? So that's another project for us. The final projects that we're working on is, what is the big problem for people? What's the solution, and have we clarified it for our users? Another project we're working on is, what is the product that we're selling to you? My guess is, if you're in this class, a lot of you only think that the class is the product. it's just not the case. We haven't clearly communicated it. Inside this class, you have access to 28 tools, including these. Inside this class, you have access to all of our online classes. Inside this class, you have access to our mobile app, our desktop app. And I'm not sure all of you know that, but you have access to all of our technology. And we haven't made that clear. Does everyone understand that you have access to a ton of stuff? My guess is you want to know how to access it. So when I look at my to-do list, are my to-dos leading towards clarifying the solution? Is it leading towards making it easier for our people to understand that? We also are trying to make our analog products, the daily planners that we have, here's mine, the daily planners talk to the digital. And the final project that we're working on is product UI UX, which stands for user interaction or user experience. How can we simplify it and how can we engage? So let me go back and just show you. Where are they? Well, I guess I haven't made them big enough. Let me get rid of this. I want you to see what we're actually working on. Get rid of this, discard those. And this is ours. I want you to see the big picture of what we're working on. Let me get rid of this. Because until you can really see how this is going to help you overcome procrastination, these are the systems that we want to help you put into place. Okay, let's see if I can't blow that up again. Save. Slideshow, play from current slide. Here are our goals: revenue, engagement, helping be a global leader in purpose, productivity, and happiness. These are the projects that we're working on. The projects we're working on drive us towards wanting to get the task done. We want to get the task done, but we've clarified what the tasks are. I really wish that these were meetings so that you could actually see what we're doing. Now I'm going to make this a lot more clear, but out of all of these things that we're working on, out of all of these things that we're working on, the number one thing that we're working on is the technology roadmap. In other words, how can we help you know what step to take first? How can we help you onboard with an amazing way? How can we help you know what's included? And how can we help you understand the interactions you're supposed to take and the user experience? Well, here's how. If we've said that we want to create a technology roadmap, then what I've done is I've broken all of this down. Now, I'm going to switch to another screen here. I'd like you to take a piece of paper and to begin to follow with me through the thought process of how this is going to help you not procrastinate. So you've taken all this stuff. We procrastinate because we're not clear. We don't know what projects we're working on. The projects may not be compelling enough. So now how do we break those projects down into actions? This is a fillable form. If you will put in the spreadsheet that you would like a copy of this, we're happy to send it to you. It's actually in the desktop application, but a lot of people don't know. So make sure that you're putting in chat to all panelists and attendees that you'd like to be able to break these projects down into smaller projects. So here's what we want to accomplish. How do we create the technology roadmap? We've created systems and processes. So this is the goal of the technology roadmap. The first thing I have to do is create milestones. In other words, I have to specifically put on my calendar when things will be completed. So let me show you an example of that. I'm trying to give away all the secret sauce. So we're working on a project for real estate agents. You know, we're also working on one for healthcare. We're working on one for the Arkansas Department of Workforce. Let me make sure I have all of this here. I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute. and make sure I can find this. You're truly about to see how we do this, and you'll see how we break it down even more. So let me make sure I'm pulling up the right piece. Google is being slow. Florida Realtors. Okay. All right. I hope y'all are really excited because I'm giving you an inside look at how we do this. All right, so here we are. We've said that we have to create milestones. Can you see this? Let me make sure that everyone can see this. Are you able to see what we're looking at, what I'm sharing? Make sure that you're sending to all panelists and all attendees. Take another sip of water. Okay, great. I'm seeing that people, goodness, that people can see this. We have created a 4-week roadmap because we've been working with Florida realtors. We want to make sure that we begin to deliver. Now we have this technology, pardon me, I'm going to have to cough. Now we have this technology roadmap that we've just created in a Google Sheet. And the first thing you have to do in any kind of project is you have to understand what you're creating. And so as part of the product roadmap, we want to make sure that the vision of how we can help specific realtors is clear. So we started looking at what were the problems that realtors face. Realtors face the fact that they're stressed. Again, we want to increase competency on closing documents. We want to streamline how we run our contracts. We want to learn how to cold call in a more efficient way. We want to increase our sales. If that's the case, then our product has to deliver that message. Part of the problem is that it's hard for you to see the goal of the 7-minute life. The goal of the 7-minute life that we need to communicate is that the 7-minute life is going to give you processes and tools. We're going to give you pieces of these so that you can really make a difference, so you can create places. So here was week 1. We had to create the psychology and content, and we're looking at the full strategy. That was due on April 25th. May 2nd, we had to have all of our materials completed, and we had to have a dashboard. I'm going to stop sharing again. I want to show you the dashboard of what we're creating so that you can see these milestones. I'm actually giving you how we're specifically building these things out. Are you ready? This, get to the right place. Now I want y'all to be super excited because this is the inside, and then we'll tie it all back together. Okay, here we go. So our goal this week was to create the dashboard. When you go into app.the7minutelife and register, you have access to all of these people. If you don't know how to register at app.the7minutelife, that's not, a good customer journey. Even when you come to this page, oh, wait, I'm not sharing my screen, am I? Nobody told me. There we go. Now, can you see my screen? I love it when people are telling me. Thank you for letting me know that. When we look at this dashboard under app.the7minutelife, and all you have to do is go to app.the7minutelife and create your account. When we look at this, yep, you can go into events and register for our events. So next week, we're going to be talking about how to create the very best to-do list. Right now we're creating, so you go into our events and you download, click here to register. If you want to access our member tools right now, you click on member tools, and all of the tools that you see, they're like 40 plus tools are here. But my guess is you don't even know where those things live. So are you ready for this? We said, going back to here, that our goal was to create a dashboard to make the user experience better. And we wanted that dashboard created by May 2nd. This is what we created by May 2nd. Let me make that bigger and now smaller. So this is the new dashboard that you'll be experiencing. It's not finished yet, but in order to do the technology roadmap to make it easier for our users to experience the 7-minute life, we had to have a goal. Our goal is to really increase engagement with our people, to really help you understand how are we going to do this. So they created the prototype. Now I am going to stop right there, and I want you to see, because I see some of you there, isn't this a better dashboard than what you had? Where is it? Than what this was. This did not really give you information of where to go. There was no step 1, step 2. We had procrastinated on making this better because our goal was not clear, that we wanted to increase revenues as a business. We wanted to engage our clients and make it easy for our members to navigate. We want to be the global leader on purpose. We had not finished that, and now we have moved toward this. So I'm going to take a sip of water. What's going to happen is, here's how you get started. Very first thing we want to do, 7-step process. We want you to confirm your email or sign up for that, confirm your email, create your first to-do list, learn how to take the morning and the evening, create your goals. So now when you want to register for the events, they're not hidden. Now these are, again, we're not going to be teaching on infrastructure to Azure Cloud, but we're going to be teaching all these things. Then we're going to help you get started. Who are we? Why 7-minute life? How do you access the tools? All of these pieces. Come on, let me see somebody in chat. Are y'all really excited? The problem is these things take time. And so even though we knew we wanted to get to this point, until we actually, let me get rid of that, until we actually had put in where we were going and created a timeline, I don't know how to get rid of that, and created the timeline that said, come on, computer, that said, we're going to have this done by May 2nd. It wasn't done until May 2nd. So at this point, once we created all of these pieces, we've been able to do that. And Allyson, update events. Yesterday, I've sent Sabina the events pages. So we are really, really driven to do this. Okay, I'm going to go back to the project. If our project is the technology roadmap, first thing we had to do was create milestones. That milestone calendar is now done. We did not procrastinate on that because we knew it had to happen. The next project that we're working on is our website. The website is not clear. It's okay, but it's not really clear. It doesn't give you an onboarding experience. Onboarding experience. And it's because the language is not clear. Again, I'm giving you the inside view. This is the sneak peek into how we're doing it. When you look at our website right now, and we're proud of our website, we are excited that things are getting better. But when you look at our website, it's pretty clear what we do. Find purpose and happiness in work. That's clear. We want to help you with your purpose, innovation, creativity, excellence, and happiness. We want to reinvent the well-being. But as you're looking at this, again, I'm giving you all the inside secrets. If one of our goals is to generate revenue and engagement, does above the fold on our website tell you how you can work with us for us to help you? Does this homepage lead toward that very first shot? Does that lead towards our goals and your goals? Our goals, obviously, as a business, we've got to drive revenue. Obviously, in your business, you need to drive revenue. So does that work? That's a thing that we're working on. So the language is not clear. So what have I done? I am interviewing right now, interviewing content writers. That was supposed to be done this week. So guess what? I have an appointment this afternoon. Because I've set a milestone, I know the language isn't clear. I'm no longer procrastinating on that. The webinar technology we also had to do is done. We are, technology. That is done. It's pretty easy to register on our website. The video replays, Sabina does an amazing job of getting those done. They're typically up within 24 to 48 hours. All of you on this class have access to the video replay. So even though that's done, our users don't know how to access them. So now that we are on a path, if all we said was that we want to have a technology roadmap, procrastination happens because we didn't have clear direction. So we've created clear direction. Our online courses are up and running. They are done. But our user experience to access the courses for the user is not completed. Well, we're saying it has to be completed by the end of the week. So the other thing that I think you have to look at, if you're procrastinating, and so now I'm just typing, if you're procrastinating, there is typically a reason. And the reasons that you procrastinate on things is that you don't have the resources. In other words, if I can't write the content, maybe I have to hire a content writer. If you don't have the resources, another problem is you may not have the money to hire the resources. So if you're not a content writer and you don't have the money to write the resources, what tends to happen is we don't take the action, even if we need to do that. So if you're not a writer, then I think that maybe something is that you can take a writing class. If that's important, we have to increase our own our own competency. So one of the things that will stop us from procrastinating is improving our own skill sets. We have to have skills. It could be that you need to master a software program. That if you're struggling with whatever it is that you are struggling with, then you need to master it. Another thing is if you work in a team, you may have to improve your communication skills, even with yourself. You may have to look at who can help you do these things. So the things that cause us to procrastinate, we don't have the resources, we may not have the money. If we don't have the money, then we have to increase our own skills and competency. If you're a realtor and you don't know how to do a contract properly, then how can you learn how to really complete a contract? What skills do you need? What credentials do you need? What certifications? Who do you need to know? So all of these pieces, and I'm going to go back to this now, lead to stopping the procrastination. And then I'm going to show you how to do it on a daily basis, and we will finish. Procrastination, what is it? It's indecision, anxiety. It causes anxiety. Partly it could be apathy, but partly it could be that we just don't know where to start. And that's a problem. I hope as you come to these classes, you realize that continuing to procrastinate is a decision that you can't continue to make. You've got to really be able to hit a tipping point and say, I can no longer procrastinate. I have got to learn how to prioritize, organize, and simplify the tasks I'm going to do. I need these repeatable systems so I can get them done. First step in stop procrastinating is, are you working on tasks that lead you toward a goal that is meaningful to you? It's not the goal that is really important. It is what drives the goal that we have to really think through. We have to get ourselves right. We have to understand what drives us, but we do have to clarify the goals. Then we have to break those goals into projects. This is not a fancy thing. You've got to decide what are the goals that are projects that are going to lead you there. Then you have to break them down into things that you can actually focus on. And then you have to create that written daily plan of action. So I want to end with that as we get there. It's going to be behavioral changes. It's going to have to be having systems. So these are the two tools we've talked about today. I've actually given you an inside peek of our goals and the projects that we have to work on. Think about it. We have a lot of real estate agents that are here. Think about those things. What projects are going to make you the most money? The number one thing is, back to Chad, is calling people and asking them to do business with you. That is the hardest thing. We can work on social media posts. We can do those things, but having the open houses, calling people to do business with them. I call it precipitating events. Call as many people as you can and tell them, hey, this is Allyson. I don't sell real estate, but hi, this is Allyson Lewis. I am working now with Keller Williams or Century 21, or I have my own company. And I know that people buy and sell houses all the time, but they're constantly looking for the right person at the right time to sell their home. I want you to understand all of our services so that when you or when a friend of yours is going to sell a home, I want you to think of me. So a precipitating prospecting call is a precipitating event. It's not that you're calling that person to sell a house, but you're telling them what you can do, because other people are going to have that. Just as an example, on cold calling, I was a stockbroker for 30 years. I would tell as many people as I could what I did. And I was proud to tell them what I did. But I would say to people, and this is how it works, almost every big client I received happened because of a precipitating event. And in our business, precipitating events where people got a lot of money would happen because of accidents where they received insurance money. So the American Airlines plane that crashed in Little Rock, Arkansas, and people were killed and people were hurt. American Airlines made very large settlements. And these people hadn't been investors before. All of a sudden now they became clients. Why? Because they were friends with someone that I'd told about our services. It could be that somebody passed away and there was a life insurance, or somebody retired and they had a 401k rollover, or someone divorced and all of a sudden now they're working on it. So how many people can you just call? It doesn't have to be calling prospective people, and just say, hey, this is Allyson Lewis. I just want you to know we're working in real estate. The market has never been better. If you have a child, or if you know someone moving to town, or if you are looking, be bold. Right now the market's exciting. So, but then what projects? Then you break down the projects. I like to use just handwriting. These are all the things we've done. We had to create a launch date. We're designing it. We need feedback. These are the things that are obstacles. Is it money, people, skills, a software platform, the cost of vendors? Who do you need to know? All of the lack of these cause us to procrastinate. You have to overcome those obstacles. So on a daily basis, here's where we wrap up. When you wake up, let me go to the real one. When you wake up in the morning, there are 24 hours. The 7-minute life is always moving forward. You wake up in the morning, you already know you're going to end the day. You're either going to end the day having accomplished what you set out to accomplish, or you're going to blink your eyes and the day is going to go by. The full scale of the importance of this is that there are 24 hours in a day. That is all we have. That's 1,440 minutes. Those of you that come week after week, I want to encourage you to take that 1% of your time, to take 7 minutes in the morning and to look at your goals and to look at the projects you're working on. Look at your calendar and say, what can I do today? In that 7 minutes, you're going to think, literally, I set my phone for 7 minutes. You're going to clarify the goals. You're going to create a written plan of action. You're going to prioritize those things, and you're going to choose out of all the things that you could do, what are the 5 most important things that you will do? So what does that look like? If you want to stop procrastinating, there are really only 3 things. What actions are going to move you towards your goals today? Have you clarified them? You create a to-do list, you prioritize those tasks, and you create a written plan of action. We have 3 minutes left in the morning. And Sabina, if you'll remind me, we'll send this out too. In the morning, when you set your clock for 7 minutes, you think about how you feel today. You look at your 1 to 5 year goals. Is it revenue? Is it selling more houses? Is it engaging your customers? You look at the projects in progress. If you don't have the projects, there's no way to know what to work on. You look at what you've completed in the week before. You look at your calendar and you see what's coming up. You look at the paper on your desk, because these are typically projects. You look at your email and you create this to-do list. And then you ask yourself one question. If I only accomplish 5 things, what is my goal for today? What are the 5 most important things? What are the 5 high value actions that I'm going to accomplish today? You're going to then transfer them to the daily progress report, which is going to be an entire series that we're going to come up with. We want you to create a process, and this is a 2-page document for those of you who are new, where you create your to-do list, you narrow it down to what are the 5 most important things I will get done that lead me directly towards the goal. And because I only have 5 things, I don't have to procrastinate. These are tiny, high value things. They're prioritized. I come in, I do the first thing, and I go from, okay, it started, it's finished, it's marked off. I finished the second, I finished the third, I finished the fourth, I finished the 5th. Most important things I've done today when I created my to-do list is that I've hired, well, I haven't hired, I'm interviewing the content writer. I've talked to the person that is in charge of our emails to help make it a better experience for you. We're working on that dashboard. I've prepped for this class today. Let's see what else I have. So I've done 3 out of my 11. I did have some other things to do, but I created a written plan of action, and I've gotten 3 of the 5 things done. If you have a written plan of action and you simply focus on not procrastinating on 5 things, if you can truly define the 5 highest value, tiny steps, a micro action is something that will take you less than 20 minutes to complete, and you get them done. If you were to accomplish 5 things that you did not procrastinate on before 11 a.m. every day, in just 1 week, in 7 days, 5 actions times 7 days would mean that you did not procrastinate on 35 high value actions. It actually means that you accomplished 35. But my last point here is that the 7-minute life is not a week by week. It is actually a 90-day platform. The books are 90 days. Also, a downloadable planner comes with yours, so you can download your copy of the planner with your membership. It's 90 days because that's quarterly earnings. But more importantly, it's 90 days because those are the seasons of life, winter, spring, summer, fall. And if procrastination is the biggest problem, then breaking tasks down into tiny steps and accomplishing 5 high value activities for the next 90 days, 5 things that you made a commitment not to procrastinate on, you would accomplish 450 high value steps toward accomplishing your goals that you would have not procrastinated on completing. So that is our class for today. I understand that these pieces are They move by very quickly. Are there any questions that you may have that I can answer? It's pretty important stuff. This is, it's a big deal. There are a lot of people still on the call. Are there any questions that you may have that we can help you with? So I'll give everybody just a second. If you don't know where the recordings are, if you're not able to access the pieces that we're talking about here, if you don't know how to access the member tools, you want to go to support@these7minutelife.com. That's Sabina, and she will help you do that. Any questions? I'm always afraid that someone is typing feverishly and they're not going to be able to get things in there. June, thank you. I'm always so glad that you're here. I see a lot of familiar faces on these calls. We are so grateful that you're here, and we would love your suggestions. There's a bunch more coming along, and we're trying not to procrastinate on those things so we can get them done for you. So we will see you next Tuesday at 2:15 Eastern, and we're going to be talking about how to create the best to-do list ever so you don't have to procrastinate at all. We'll see you next Tuesday. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.